Welcome and Happy New Year. So as I prepare to bring through a channeling from the guides on this here now moment, the invitation is to close the outward facing eyes and make the intention to rest attention in the heart and center, opening to notice the physical sensations in the center of the chest, opening to notice the physical sensations in the whole of the body, and throughout the channeling to return attention to the simple sensation of breath in the body so that we're anchored within. This will be a major theme of the year, anchoring ourselves within so that we are fully, not so much fully, but we are habitually turning inwards to check and reference our responses, our internal responses, deepening our relationship with our intuition, deepening our relationship with our guidance, and essentially opening up that capacity we all have to be our own oracle, to read the Akash of consciousness, because as we connect this year, as the evolution of consciousness continues to be symptomized by ever expanding and deepening, integrated, embodied connectivity awareness, realizing the realizing physically the I who knows itself as one within all that is, within all life, within itself, as that interconnectivity continues to be a symptom of our evolution and our ascension. We all have a much greater capacity to access information from within, to deepen our discernment for recognizing whether we resonate with the information we're receiving from external or apparently external sources, and for asking questions internally and receiving answers through multiplicitous avenues. So whether you are somatic or visual, or you are thought, or you are auditory, or wherever you receive more of your inspirations, connections, intuition, guidance, or very basically, where you register your sense of I do want this and I don't want that. Is that more physical for you? Is it emotional? Is it more a thought? Is it visual? Do you hear the words, I do want this? Like, how do you register your own intuition? So this is the focus for this year. There are more than 7 billion narratives in action in the planet, all being supported in a quickening of transformation, ascension, and awakening. And there is a habitual tendency to look outwards and see that because you are recognizing your own manifestations of ascension, and you're not necessarily seeing those manifestations mirrored back to you in the same way in all avenues of consciousness, the mistake can be made that the rest of the planet, or large portions of it, aren't ascending in the way that they should be or could be, and you must come out and rescue these people from their lack of awakening. And we would urge you to allow everyone to be exactly where they are in this moment and recognize that there are untold, unfathomable, uncountable agencies at work supporting everyone in their process. Everyone is fully supported in their process, and it looks very different for every individual on the planet. So turning within to ask what in this moment is my truth, and honoring the answers that come, even if you don't recognize that answers are coming. The moment you turn within and ask that question, answers will be coming. They may come to you as people bringing information. They may come to you as events. They may come to you as images that travel across the vista, the horizon of your view as you're engaging in daily life. And so that ability to turn within, recognize resonantially, whether what you are seeing, what is coming to you, what has been dropped in front of your attention is in fact an answer to a question that you have directed internally, that you have asked the universe, spirit, your higher self, or all of consciousness. Asking your questions internally will bring the answers, not always internally. It can bring them externally. So discerning when something is an answer is something that there will be a real focus on, a real support for, and a real focus on in this coming year. Moving along now. We are delighted to announce that this coming year is bringing the revolutionary awakening of the divine mind. This signals and heralds the separation of the thinking mind from the feeling heart and the sensory body. This brings collectively divine mind into the arena to support you all in fulfilling through action, word, thought, logic, structure, sequencing, goal setting, planning, fulfilling your purpose. The purpose that arises from the essence of who you are, from all of beingness, fulfilling what you're here to do. You have all been anchored in the divine resonance of the essence of the truth of your being, whether you are conscious of this or not. The gateways home have been opened in the human blueprint, and you are all anchored in this. You are now supported to open to the qualities of divine mind that carry into form through action, thought, and word this essence of the truth of your beingness. This will be a year of innovations, of greater certainty, clarity, that allows you all to focus and set the goals that you can trust are aligned with the truth of who you are. And so just allowing a little moment here for some adjustments to take place energetically. I can feel the energy is moving. Okay, up my central column, adjusting things in each sacred center as we go, working on the upper centers more than the lower ones, but not abandoning those lower ones. The sense I have that the guides are working with me to open the channels and pathways that allow me to bring through information on this at a higher frequency. It feels very beautifully expansive. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. It's because there's a new set of guides working here now. They're bringing through the flows and the energy pathways, opening the energy pathways that need to be open, so that I can connect with them. Gotcha. Oh, yeah. Real expansion around the head. Funnily enough. I feel this real huge opening. Mm. Mm. Okay, now it feels like there is a transmission of gifts coming through for you. I can feel the heart resonance of this as they send this. So you can simply open to be receive in your hearts what is for you in a way that is benevolent, safe and appropriate and loving, be my suggestion. And then open to notice the physical sensations as vibrations. Maybe there are, maybe there aren't sensations to notice. And just be with your own experience while this is coming through. And remember that these are guides of unconditionally loving integrity. There is a softness here. And this comes with heart resonance. It's from heart through heart to heart, for the purpose of your own expansion and reconnection. So what is being brought is not something external to yourselves, it's what opens you up to more of yourself. It's a facilitation and an activation. Okay. You can feel them working more down the lower centers, especially in the sacral area. Making that weaving connection between the heart, the sacral, and the mind. What I call the first petal in the flower of infinity, our divine human blueprints. Okay, and now the second petal, which again goes from the heart out in front of us, returning to the heart, and then through the heart opens from the back of the heart, drawing the flower petal from the back that then returns. So there's this kind of cross of flower petal opening. Just open to notice now the subtle flows of energy in your body. That could be the in and out of the breath. And as simple as that, but be with that rise and fall and feel that soft movement. How does the breath move in you, and how does the breath move you in the softest, subtlest ways? And you start to open to those sensorily, to these very subtle flows of energy. as they are moving through the field and weaving more of you into you. So what we've touched on here is a little of the divine. It's like the motherboard for the divine blueprint. When we each connect with that, we will all get something unique and different and highly specific to ourselves. So although it's a blueprint, it lands so very differently in each of us. And there is a beautiful intelligence to that, which is why the emphasis this year is so very much on turning within for discernment, for resonantial recognition, opening to our inner oracle, knowing that whether we think like this or not, we are reading the Akash. We are able to read the Akash of consciousness, to receive answers from a very wide variety of directions internally. And the more it's like a muscle, and it's like exercise, the more we use this, I shouldn't say that word at this time of year, but the more we use this, the more we get to know ourselves, the more we get to develop that language of asking questions internally and receiving answers from any direction. Okay, so this is what this activation is supporting, as far as I can understand it. Yep, that's a yes. And if there's nothing, if you're here and you're feeling and you just don't notice anything, there's really nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean nothing is happening, and it doesn't mean that anything is wrong. See, for the first, I know for a long time when I was asking to notice things energetically, I would get no answer. It would feel like I was asking and asking and no answer was coming. But by asking, I was stretching those muscles, if you like, that enabled the answer to flow back to me. And then there just came a tipping point where the answers started to come, and I started to notice more. I started to observe things happening, and it was the asking that was the important thing, not the getting the answers. Okay, so it's being prepared to be open to receive. So we're still working energetically. And if you just sit here and stay with your attention on the sensation and the rise and fall of breath in the body, this will be more than enough. Absolutely more than enough right now. So now just after that, I always suggest after receiving or working energetically that we take some moments to listen to those very subtle movements that the body wants to make, because energies don't just come in at the energetic level. We integrate them physically, and that distance between the energetic and the physical, that's reducing. That's something else this year that we're going to see a lot of, is this reduction in the distance between the energetic and the physical. So at this point, it's wonderful to give yourself a moment to ask, what strange and peculiar movements would your body like to make? Does it want to crunch muscles right on the inside, right in your core? Do the hips need to move and open? Does the neck and the shoulders, do they need to stretch? And where would it feel good just to open out the body a little bit, very gently, careful movements, no forcing, no pushing. But do you want to rotate around the spine? Do you want to move from left to right? What about your fingertips and your wrists? Would it feel good to open those out, to move them a little bit, to wriggle your toes? Just listening around the body, letting your attention rest on a part of the body, like the toes and the fingertips and the wrists, and feeling into, oh, what would feel good here now? Just giving that little bit of, because when we connect to energies that open us and help us expand, there are actual pathways. It's like a circuitry is flowing along, there's a current flowing along a circuit pathway where perhaps there's an increase in that current, there's more energy flowing on pathways than there was before. And where we're crunched up and closed down, there's going to be pressure on that flow. It's going to be trying to move through crunched up, constricted parts of ourselves. So listening to the body during and after energy work of any kind is so important. And it really helps us integrate and shift blocks and constrictions in a gentle, easy way. And remind ourselves that energy and physicality are one. That the physical environment, the physical universe is energy vibrating at different rates with different behaviors. Okay. All right. So the invitation now before the next phase of what's coming in is to drop into silence. Allow attention to rest in the heart and center as though it's reclined there. And we can notice the breath, but make the intention to be in the still point, in the center, in between the in-breath and the out-breath, where there's silence. And let that silence expand out in all directions from the center point where we are anchored now in our attention. Opening to feel around the body, any sensations that come, making them fully welcome. Allowing them to be exactly as they are, meeting them as vibration, not story. Full permission and allowing. Keeping attention in our heart and center while we also notice whatever shows itself in our field at the moment. So we are open to an expanded field. We may be having sensations about things that are way beyond the body. We may be opening to notice things that aren't just located in our physical universe or in our physical body. So giving permission for things to move now energetically just as they want to, trust that we don't need to manage that process. We stay centered, and that is what allows things to move the way they need to come into alignment. Again, let the body move you in subtle ways if that's part of this for you. So you're really invited to invite gentleness into this process of allowing energy to move. It doesn't have to be intense. The more light, the more love there is, the more softness, the more that which is tight and relaxing can do so in a soft way, in a held way, in a loving, gentle way. So we're just allowing now in our expanded field tightnesses, things that were held, to gently soften and open and return to join the flow of all of everything in us at the moment. That's what our energy is. It's the flow of all of everything in us, following those sacred pathways, resonating in those sacred centers, being encoded with specific instructions to create us and our human experience in the here and now moment. So we're always encoding that breath of all that is as it flows through us and our systems. It's always being told what to do and how to behave. When we come into our center, we open to a more connected state. And we remember that we are a shape that has a place within the whole of all of everything. And that allows those encodements that we hold in our energy pathways and in our sacred centers, which are the encodements we hold in our DNA, the scripts in our human blueprint. We allow those encodements to rewrite themselves from a place of remembering, so that how we're creating our here and now human moment of experience is coming more and more and more from that remembering of connectivity, which you might call oneness awareness. And more of those old scripts and encodements, those beliefs, expectations, thought patterns, emotional patterns, behavioral impulses that were connected to survival in a reality where we were isolated and cut off from source, from each other, from life, from all that is, from above, from below, you name it. Those patterns that supported us surviving in those conditions, they get to dissolve, and we don't have to go and manage all of them. We don't have to go and individually hunt them down. So continuing to keep attention on the breath, even while these words are all here, pointing your unconscious and subconscious in all sorts of directions now. You can keep your conscious attention on the sensation of breath in the body, and being in that center of the chest and the heart. There we go. And we're just focusing on this one word of expansion, here and now. Opening to notice the sensations in the chest, giving full permission for whatever is moving. Be as it is here now. Know that it's as easy as breathing. You breathe in what's for us from this now moment. The new comes. We breathe out what's not. It goes home to source and is renewed. It's safe to let go of everything, because what is true and what is for us returns moment to moment. It's rebreathed back into our systems. We can let go of everything. There's that message of letting go right now. Let go. An invitation to make this intention without knowing what it means necessarily. I relax into the truth of myself now. I relax into my naturalness now. It is as easy as breathing. I let go of managing the process now. Okay, that was a little journey there. So thank you for being with that, and it'll be delightful to meet again in the next few days, I hope, and see what more there is to come through in the guides on this beautiful new year that we seem to be stepping into so fast. All right. Bye for now. With love.